I didn't like the start. Do it again.
Oh my god. All right.
Do it more fluently.
Hello and welcome to the Nothing Happened podcast. Probably the best way to enjoy theories, discussions, and analysis around One Piece without the need to stare at a screen. My name is Starknightandilex, and we are joined by my friends Kusoland, KubeOfTheRedSea, and Tainted Marth. Guys, what's new, and how are you feeling about the end of the break month?
I want another break month.
Another break month?
I think we're good. We're good in the break month. I think it was perfect.
No, it's not enough break months.
It's whatever for me. I don't mind if we are extended with break so Oda could rest and I get to, it builds the suspense, and it's not like I want to have more time to work on my new theory or anything like that.
Actually, Andy, it's for that reason that I want the break month, because Oda hates when the anime and the manga gets too close by. So I think if the longer we do the break months, the closer we get to the anime. And I don't want to get the same thing we got in Wano, since he wanted to make sure they were different in arc. He started rushing certain storylines.
Yeah, and speaking of the anime, we just... Oh, sorry, were you going to say something? I think I just cut someone off.
Nope.
No? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, in the anime right now, we just got the Lucci versus Luffy fight, which happened in the manga back in 2022 in December. And we're in 2024 already. And it's been a while.
So I did finally watch that episode, and I know what you guys are talking about now. That was absolutely fire. They went all out on that episode, so thank you.
Yes, I'm glad you finally watched it. It was great. Oh man,
it's good that it's thanks to us and not because of Oda's great work that he watched the anime. It's good that you respect the sensei's work.
I mean, I'm manga first at the end of the day. I'll watch the episodes if I feel like it. But you guys recommended it, and I'm into it.
Or
Let's go.
Did you just randomly slander everyone who's not reading the manga?
Yeah, I think you just did.
Yeah. I did.
Well, if you're not...
I'm okay with that.
Okay. If there's anybody watching this and you're not reading the manga, stop what you do. Well, finish the stream, listen to it, and go read the manga right now. Or after this podcast, go read that manga, because you are missing out.
We'll be right here.
Yeah, we'll be waiting.
Obviously, if you're also able to read the manga, for all those who we understand, for those who are not able to.
Disclaimer, you're not obligated to read the manga. You can do whatever you want. These guys are frauds. They cannot tell you what you have to do, okay, guys? But you should still read the manga.
Don't forget later.
Don't forget, Fujitora reads watches One Piece. It's good. It's hard for him to read.
Oh my god.
Bro.
Gotta be respectful.
It's hard for him to watch too, bro.
No, he sees the colors.
Oh.
He said it that much in Dress
Wait, so how come we can't see the colors of the manga then?
It's black and white.
What's happening with Fujitora is Usopp is telling him the story of One Piece, and that's actually what's happening.
You'd be telling it wrong though, right?
No,
or right.
So how am I supposed to understand this? So while Fujitora is like letting rubber rain down on the Straw Hats and everyone of Dressrosa, Usopp standing right beside him and whispering into his ear, "Yeah, I know they are running. They are running, Fujitora. Yeah, and you barely missed them, Fujitora. But everyone is happy, actually, but you just can't see it." Is it like that? Is Usopp invisible?
Yeah. Yes, but just picture his nose poking Fujitora like on the cheek. And
is it kind of like that, but like typical like pottery scene where like the arms are wrapped around the...
Yeah. Message from Sam, I think is the movie.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
God.
I don't know. Never seen it.
Well, I thought it was the movie Ghost.
Oh, it was Ghost then.
What?
It's all kinds of movies that have weird titles, right?
Yeah, the guy holding the girl and doing the pottery at the same time.
I think you're right. It's Ghost, man. See, when it comes to like very, very disgusting romantic movies, like Andy Lex is the man to go.
Yeah, I am your guy. I'm playing. But yeah, so I think there's a new chapter coming this week. I just heard from Cube, I think, so pretty hyped for that. The anime
my short-term memory is terrible. What happened in the last chapter?
The Gorsey.
Yeah, one of them disappeared actually. Saint Jupiter, I think that's the worm. I don't know where they are. No,
Dorian Broggy just took him out. Remember, they just attacked.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They did the sun shield.
You guys could have solved that so easily by just saying the chapter number.
No, that wouldn't have helped me at all.
Chapter 1111.
Yeah, but it's good for I want to say the feel, man. But this is a podcast, right?
Yeah,
listeners.
Yeah, it's good for them to understand which chapter we're talking about. I mean, obviously, everyone is still listening to this in the year 2030.
I thought it was 2035.
Oh.
No, it's 2033, but that's beside the point.
And time zones.
Yo, this is dry.
Like your humor, Kuso. So you must feel accustomed to it.
No, but what happened was the last panel we've seen was the Iron Giant.
And saying I'm sorry.
So
I fucked up. Yeah, I remember now. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like a whole month since we had a chapter, or like 3 weeks.
Felt like yesterday.
So
I mean, it felt like yesterday, but I also forget what happened yesterday. So
yeah, I remember. Yeah, the sun shield, the attack Dorian Broggy did, like really left a big image in my head imprint. I really liked that. It was pretty awesome.
What do you guys think the Iron Giant's apologizing for, by the way? Are we getting into it?
For what he's about to do?
Or for not
what
getting
is he about to do?
I think the Iron Giant is apologizing for not being able to protect the giant straw hat.
Yeah.
Was he going to retrieve it 200 years ago, you reckon?
Yeah, that's what I think he was trying to do.
For me, my point was I basically see it as the Iron Giant was like Zunisha was giving Mosaki an order. That's why Zunisha seems to be following a certain protocol, and the Iron Giant is going to break it. That's why he's already saying, "Forgive me, Joy Boy."
Or his goal was to get on top of Maryjaw and probably do something bad, or good, but you know what I mean, like wipe out the celestial dragons or something, destroy Maryjaw. And he failed, and the giant failed, and it got its conscience back just now, and it's apologizing for what happened, and it's probably not going to succeed. So it's letting them know it's probably going to sacrifice itself, or who knows? It might fight off the Gorsey.
I mean, we're pretty obvious that it's a big conjecture what they did. That it's the Iron Giant. Most likely, the Iron Giant was just the backup. The one who failed was Joy Boy 200 years ago. I mean, the Iron Giant seems to only connect when the Drums of Liberation are there. So. And 200 years ago, the fishmen who seemed to also connect to Joy Boy were also there. So, and he made them a promise that he failed. So I mean,
I guess a lot of promises
kind of makes
probably
sense
broken.
That whatever they're talking about with Robin and Neptune was not 800 years ago, but 200 years ago.
Yeah, but that's the thing we wanted to talk about anyway. At least Cube and I, probably should have talked about this before starting record, but whatever. It's cool if the listeners can hear as well. So. Regarding what's going to happen in the next chapter, or theorizing about what happened in the last, is a bit wonky for us since we can't really edit the podcast fast enough before the next chapter comes out. So you might be hearing this one after the next chapter already is out, maybe even the next 2 chapters. So in the future, we probably try to avoid talking about these topics unless there's a break week, and then we will just conclude everything and then talk about what could happen in the next one, if that makes sense, because otherwise it just might be confusing.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
But for this one, make sure to get if we got our predictions right or whatever, who called it.
Yeah, we could.
But Cube. Sorry, what were you saying, Marth?
I actually don't think that we will get the solution for this in the next
I don't think so either.
I might be wrong, but we have seen the Iron Giant like awakening. Don't quote me on it, but I think like 5, 6, 7 chapters ago, and then it took like so many chapters before we saw him actually moving. So I don't think we see him right in this chapter. Could be wrong though.
Considering if the Iron Giant if Luffy loses Gear 5. It could be the Iron Giant might go back to bed because it opened once at 1092, Then Luffy lost his energy, and then when Luffy got his energy back, around 1106, you saw his eye go up again.
Oh, yeah. That could be it. Yeah, Luffy needs to be in gear 5 for it to be up.
Possibly, maybe.
But what you were saying earlier, Cube, was you said the Joy Boy apology was 200 years ago. It wasn't 800.
Yeah, because they had to give a timeline. But they keep talking about the fishermen being in the Marijoa 200 years ago. And something happened, which created a huge hostility to the point that they're trying to go after the... What if it's because of Nika?
Didn't they give some sort of an indication of when the last fish mermaid thing? What's Shirahoshi called?
Yeah,
I thought it
800 years
was
ago,
800 years ago.
And I think Joy Boy, and Joy Boy apologized to her. So I think maybe.
I mean, they didn't really
I don't know,
give
but
the
maybe-
date. We know that the fisherman stuff goes up to 800 years ago. But then when they talk about this message, Neptune says we don't know anything about it. And most people don't know about it. So we all assume it was that long. But then he also mentions that 200 years ago was the last time they were in Marijoa. They tried to go there and it went really bad. And Jib even, remember when talking about Iron Giant, he said, yeah, on that year was the year where the fisherman discrimination rose up or started or really rose up. So something happened on that year at the Marijoa. And then suddenly you have the Iron Giant that seems to only wake up when the drums of liberation are there. There must have been a Joy Boy, you know.
So do you think it's the same Joy Boy from the Void Century, or do you think it's an epithet that gets passed down through the generations?
Hasn't it been hinted that there was already a Joy Boy after the Joy Boy that from 800 years ago? There may have been. And if they failed,
has there been?
I always thought it was like that. I don't know. Maybe not.
I would love to find out if that was
I think Kaido and Nolan and Roger in the story are the proof to that they're candidates to becoming Joy Boy.
Sure, I do believe there are candidates, but I'm curious as to if that means that, like, it's only 800 years since the Void Century that we finally got another Joy Boy, or these candidates have actually become legitimate Joy Boys throughout the history. Because it's one thing to be a candidate, but it's another to be actually Joy Boy, right?
Yeah, for all we know, maybe they'll randomly reveal that the government secretly disposed of whoever got access to that fruit, but like they would always lose, like never be able to get it because it would always run away.
Here's also another question, right? Does a Joy Boy have to have the Gomu Gomu no fruit?
Well, in this instance, yes, because the drums of liberation only seems to be with the Nika fruit, and the Iron Giant connects to drums of liberation.
So
in this instance,
do we believe that it has, like what the goddess has said, that the Gomu Gomu fruit hasn't been used in the last 800 years?
It hasn't been awakened. Second person, 800 years, meaning that they could have been users, but never. They all failed to awaken the fruit.
Okay, basically, but then here's another question: if it doesn't get awakened, is it still a Joy Boy? Like, was Luffy considered a Joy Boy before he was awakened? Because it's only when he awakened that Zunisha finally said, Joy Boy has returned, in which case that is implying that a Joy Boy can only come back when the fruit has awakened, right? And so if it hasn't actually awakened in the last 800 years, wouldn't that imply that there has been no Joy Boy since 800 years ago?
No, there was no full-fledged... The best example is you don't get a full-fledged Joy Boy, but you get a candidate. Like, let's say the way we talk about awakening, there's a body and the mind. Yeah. What if it's a cycle, and Luffy has always been Joy Boy, like a lot of us like to prophesize? It could be that the fruit had the mind, and the body was the actual person. But any person who would just try to emanate the body by eating the fruit, ghost in the shell, would basically become a Joy Boy, but obviously they failed because they're not the right one. So what you're saying is there's not per se a true Joy Boy, but you would have like fake Joy Boys. Like in Sabori, you had fake Straw Hats. Mm-hmm. So one component. And I think that's why Roger failed. He didn't have the...
So I guess the question ends up being, would that be enough to have woken the Iron Giant 200 years ago? Even if they were just a candidate and they hadn't fully awoken? What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, the Iron Giant incident happened like 200 years ago, right? Is that what you said? Yeah, so something had to have awakened it. Yeah, maybe Toki sent it to the past or sent it to the future, and it just was whatever power it had left, it tried to climb Marijoa.
I don't know. Like, I have to disagree with the thing that all of this started in the first place. When I don't know who was it. Someone of you guys said that their apology might have been from 200 years ago, and not, I mean, the one on the Poneglyph, and not from 800 years ago. But I disagree with that, because the apology clearly was towards the Poseidon of that time, and this one lived 800 years ago. So I don't think that Poneglyph apology is from 200 years ago. And secondly, the other thing you guys are talking about is a bit tricky. I mean, I agree with Cube, like when he says like there can be many Joy Boy candidates. But on the other hand, I think for when you have a prophecy, that means something has been foretold, and therefore it must have been like not necessarily been written down, but someone must have like prophesied a story to happen, right? And for something to be prophesied means someone, it's hard to explain, but someone has like, I just say written it down now. It doesn't have necessarily to be written down, but so you guys better understand what I mean. So for something to be prophesied means that a story has to be written down in a way which indicates that at this point that they prophesied someone to be the martyr or the hero or whatever, right? And if you say then that there are multiple candidates, but they don't necessarily need the Gomu Gomu, then that's kind of weird. I think at the moment that you prophesize that the one is coming, then I think it's pretty clear that the one is exactly one person, and the one also has to Gomu Gomu no Mi. That was a bit confusing.
Yeah, you got me confused a bit at the end, but I think I got what you meant. Yeah, that's why I think there's a disconnect. There's something about this prophecy that makes it, it could be simple as someone saw it. Sorry, put the moniker Joy Boy, like maybe one person like prophesied Joy Boy will return, start giving him the title Joy Boy to each one of them, but you would only one person is actually the true Joy Boy. Could also be simple as that, creating the legend by making, keeping it alive every 100 years. There's someone who's keeping it alive little by little. Until the right people could bring forth Joy Boy. So yeah, I was just on the thing is, I see what you mean on the whole thing. I'm saying about that interaction about Joy Boy and that apology. We know that it does connect to 800 years ago, but the way he described that message and not knowing like anything about it it could be that that message itself could have been written for the 200-year event. Like there could have been many instances where Joy Boy failed the fisherman if it's been 800 years. Because we know Poseidon is born every 200 or 250 years, something like that. I think 3D told me, so an SBS Oda gave some answer on the ancient weapons. I'll ask her if you guys are interested for some script stuff.
Wait, didn't Neptune or Robin say in the manga? No, I think it was Neptune or his wife or Tuhime that Poseidon was born like every 600 years.
Is it 600 years? Yeah, exactly. So there's like a time frame of like every 200 or 600 years. Even that's a wild thing. So that's why I think like there could have been an instance where Shiroshi interacted with two Joy Boys, or I mean 2 times Joy Boy. If he keep coming back, through the Nika fruit.
I mean, all of this also would be pointless if we think about Toki as well, right? In that Poseidon could have then leaped a couple 100 years if they wanted to.
Honestly, it would make sense. Why those ancient weapons were able to escape. And also the whole Lily thing. No one could find her. She was nowhere to be found. Orochi said the same thing about Momo and Kinemon. And they just moved the time. So I'm wondering if that's how Lily just disappeared. She moved the time with Toki.
I mean, yeah, that's what I think too, that they moved in time. I also, I mean, you know my mega theory. I don't have to explain the whole thing here. That would take forever. But I really think that the Fishman 200 years ago did something to stop the Iron Giant in a way, and that's what allowed them to be part of the reverie. Just that, like, shortly after that, something went wrong, and then they were, like, despised again.
I'm also wondering if it sounds crazy. We're all assuming it's Joybo, right? What if it's someone who was able to play the Drums of Liberation? Because one of my headcanon is the way, if you look at how Oda wrote Brooks' ability to music, Brooke is able to decipher music from sound. That's why he's able to recreate certain sounds, you know. I'm wondering if at one point Brooke is going to be able himself to play the Drums of Liberation for Luffy. Like every time it excites Luffy, that what if there's this thing where he's going to find a way with Brooke to make a cheat code. Luffy doesn't have to mentally go in a state of Gear 5. He could force out the Gear 5 out of Luffy at some time, you know?
Can Brooke even do it? Like, what if you need a heart to be able to play the drums, or it would help? Or because in the last podcast I brought it up saying, like, what if other people can, like Bonnie could mimic the heartbeat of the Drums of Liberation, the Don Toto, and it actually would have some kind of effect. And if you could somehow get your heart to beat that way, because Luffy's able to manipulate his heartbeat by making it go faster when he goes into Gear 2nd. And
I do. I'm sorry.
Then there's also there's only one drummer I know of in the story, and that's Enel. We've seen him with the drums around his back. He could actually play the Drums of Liberation.
There's also the brother, right? Shirahoshi's brother. Doesn't he play the bongos or something?
Does he? Oh,
Mambo,
him too. Yeah. Maybe with actual drums. Yeah. Like Brooke could be playing the drums or something.
I think what's interesting is that I think there will be other people that can play the Drums of Liberation, but what would be like a really epic kind of crescendo, right, would be that Luffy's almost like the conductor of an orchestra, and so other people can emulate and sort of come and join the song and make it kind of stronger, you know, kind of like an echo chamber, kind of like bouncing around and making it sort of become this really epic Drum of Liberation. But I think he still needs to be the one to start it. But other people like Brooke or Bonnie or like, you know, other people probably can sort of add to it and make it stronger potentially. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it still needs to be Luffy and Joy Boy who sort of is the catalyst, or who's like the main component for it.
Yeah, I like that. And to answer to Andy, don't forget what he said in Fishman Island. He talked about his ability to hear different sound waves to the point that he was able to hear Zero, who was invisible. He can hear the spectrum of sound for someone who's invisible. That's how he was able. Remember, even Zero, the invisible fishman, was shocked. And then he described on what he's able to do. That's what it takes to become a musician.
Here's a thought. Do you think the Drums of Liberation is just to do with the right pitch and the right sound? Or does it also have to be imbued with like the right kind of haki or the right kind of like energy for it to actually work?
Maybe a little bit of both, but because in the anime, when Joy Boy awaken and you hear that Drums of Liberation, don't they show like an audio sound wave thingy, like really quick, like that weird?
They show like the spiral kind of bouncy beat thing. Yeah.
Like maybe it actually has something to do with the frequency, or Joy Boy has the right, when he goes awaken, has the right pitch, and if somebody's able to mimic that, I don't know.
I mean, it feels like it has to start from the Luffy's heart, right? I feel like that's where it has to sort of begin from.
Do you think other people can hear it, or it's just Luffy, or Zunichi also? But you think anyone else could hear it? It's like loud, like you could.
Were they not hearing it? I don't. Now that you mention it, I don't actually know. I thought they were hearing it.
Yeah, like during the Lucci versus Luffy fight, like the people nearby,
like,
or maybe
I know they were saying, "Oh, the whole island is shaking and stuff." But now that I think about it, I don't actually know. Do you guys remember?
I don't remember, especially on AK. I don't know, like the outside.
So when Sanji woke up and was like, "Is that Luffy? Did he just feel his haki, or did
I think he
like,
felt his haki. That's what I got from it.
Yeah. For me, it's something that Kaido said about the awakening, body and the mind, and I think it's when the body like has a certain type of emotion and the mind as well, and they connect. And then I think in this instance is how Hancock's fruit. People turn into stone if they match the energy that she releases. And I think it's more simpler that Drums of Liberation is all about emotions with it. Like I'm a big believer. I believe that there's another form of Drum of Liberation, which is differently. And the way he uses it makes it so that it's never used as Drum of Liberation. It's the Overtaken. If you look at it, it's a song just with his beat. And it only starts with Luffy doing one step, and it always stops the moment Luffy starts to fight. It always starts with Luffy and stops. And I'm wondering if even Overtaken is a form of Drums of Liberation, an imperfect version of it.
Oh, the song Overtaken?
Yeah. And it's always when one of his friends was wronged, and he's gonna make it right.
Speaking of One Piece music, I was actually just thinking something similar. But yeah, like we all know, like the Drums of Liberation goes with Luffy's heartbeat. But like, what about the Sniper Island song? Because Soga King says Sniper Island is in your heart. What if like in your heart, on Sniper Island, they got music that could be similar to the Drums of Liberation? They could have instruments. But do y'all think Sniper Island's a real place? And do you think it could be in the heart? Really in the heart? Too deep?
But I don't know.
Should I tone it down?
No, it's not. The thing with Usopp is that I can actually see Sniper Island becoming a thing. Like, not even an official one. Like, map-wise, the government might not even know about the island. Maybe it's some hidden assassin island, actually, or something like that. And there really is a guy named Soga King or whatever. Like, I mean, Oda likes to mirror shit, right? So there was already a guy who looked like Sanji, and he came out.
Well, yeah, there's the fake straw hats.
So it wouldn't really.
Well, I know who you're talking about, Duval. But I meant there's also the fake straw hats and the fake Soga King.
Yeah, exactly. So it wouldn't really. I wouldn't be surprised if that got mirrored and it's happening.
Do you think it would be a literal heart, or do you think it would be a play on it, like like the Kamabako Koku Asari Kingdom that has all the hearts, for example, or like even like the fact that the word for heart in Japanese would be Shinzo, right? And the word so is in there, so maybe it's like another elephant or something. I don't know. I'm just
that is interesting. That is man.
Honestly,
I love that.
I'm wondering when that statement is, it means that that's where Usopp's family originally comes from. Because it kind of makes me think as well of, someone saying my heart is always on this, you know what I mean? And it's an island that they connect to. If they're not born there, they make, they're loyal to that place, So
it is odd. It is an interesting you bring up, because how did Usopp become a great sniper as well? It's not like he was taught how to do that by his dad, because his dad was long gone.
Dad has the same skill, so it could be that his family is has this proclivity, I think that's a word, for sniping. Like some people are, like think of the people of Shimosuke Village. A lot of them seems to have a natural talent for swordsmanship. Yes, okay, they connect to Wano, but it's a different place. It does seem that Sphinx kept very strong. Like not even part of the culture, having their own subculture. It's as Zoro's culture. Zoro was seen to be more what's called conservative than a lot of people in Wano. So so you could see that in his heart he was still a guy from Wano. So you could be thinking of Yasop and Usopp, no more in the homeland, but they still have that aspect of them in their heart, which makes them a marksman.
But I want to pick up what Kuso said real quick again. He said Shinzo means heart.
Shinzo, yeah.
And Zo means elephant, right? But Shin can also mean new.
Yeah, so new elephant.
Chen. Yeah, new. Okay. That's, like, I just wanted to give context, because, like, for people who watch actually Godzilla, there was, like, Shin Godzilla, which basically New Godzilla. And there would be really interesting if there was, like, a new elephant. And imagine that's actually where the Sniper Island.
Well, it would make sense if there's more elephants. There's one elephant, a big one, so there's got to be more. It would make sense.
Technically, it has been told to us that they are a race of elephants, right?
Yeah, because of the
SBS. Yeah, Dali.
Yeah,
there's also.
Yeah.
Oh, you go first.
No, go, Andy. Okay. Because it's going to be a twist to what I'm about to say.
Okay. But yeah, it's connected to what we were talking about, the whole thing with the Sniper Island and the heart. But yeah, with how Usopp said it to Chopper and Luffy on the sea train going to Andy's lobby was like, yeah, they're like, where's Sniper Island? And he's like, it's in your heart. And they're like in awe. But what if this kind of actually goes with like what's Vegapunk was saying about like how devil fruits come into existence? They're from the desires, the deepest, the wishes from people from different realities. What if not? What if just believing in a Sniper Island being real is not just the only one? There could be other islands that just if you believe in it, like in your heart, something you really truly desire, believe in, it'll come into existence. An island, for example, too. Like there's also that island, what's his name? Noland is looking, or not Noland, Cricket is looking for. It's the Island of Dreams. I forgot. It's called something in French, right? There's a cover story. What if it's something connected to that with what Usopp was talking about? Vienna.
You talking about the what?
The island.
Veer. You're talking about Vera? You're talking about Vera?
Yeah, that's the Island of Dreams, right? That's what it means. I could be wrong. But I think that's what it's.
No, Vera is a known island in.
Or is that what? No, is that what he was looking for?
Because the Revolution Army is using it as one of their base. It's like it's a known island in the world of One Piece. I think you're mistaken with. He talked about Vera, yes, but his thing was the City of Dreams was Skypiea, the Skylands.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you're mixing up. It was
Skypiea. The Emerald City.
No, there was a
like wasn't there talk about the Emerald City story as
well? Where is it?
Are you talking about the Sarayama Alliance people? Where no, it was like, Cricket. Oh yeah, let's go to.
There was a cover story.
Yeah. It's like Necrono or something, right?
Yeah. I just don't remember what it's called. I'm on the wiki looking really quick. Oh, Nakrora. Maybe it's connected to like the Croatoa. I don't know.
How'd you write Nakrora? I'm just curious.
Nakrowa. It means the Island of Dreams. That's what the Wikipedia says. But
yeah, that's what it says on the chapter cover as well.
Him wanting this island to be real will bring it into existence, and that the whole legend, the rumor is also the whole thing with like Usopp made it come into existence, but yeah, like maybe isn't that like with I could be wrong. I haven't seen Peter Pan in ages, but in order to find Neverland, you have to like believe in it or something. Is that or am I wrong? I don't know.
I feel like that was to fly.
Yeah, that was to fly.
You have to believe in it. Yeah, you have to believe in it. And Usopp pretty much made them believe Sniper Island is real. Because you have to believe from your heart. It's real.
Yeah, you have to believe to be able to fly, and you cannot go to Neverland without flying. So it's not like yes, you need to think, but you think about it. If you're able to, let's say, in one movie they do that where someone goes to Neverland, an adult, to get their kids. It was a TV show. He jumped on the Peter Pan's shadow and he gets there. So I mean, if you're able to fly to another circumstance, you can reach Neverland. Neverland is more protected through time. Remember, it has to be a certain time of the day. It's at the dawn or dusk where you're able to get there. You know, remember when the moon was out, and that's when the passage opens up. With that in mind, because I don't want to get forgotten, with Zunisha, I'm even wondering. You know how they say Zunisha is cursed? And I love to talk about my Disney piece a lot of the time, and there's a lot of Aladdin trope. Don't forget what happened to Apu, the monkey of Aladdin. He was turned to an elephant. I'm wondering if the reason why Zunisha is so unique is because that's not how Zunisha, it was cursed to look that way. You know?
Yeah.
Because it says it was part of Joy Boy's crew. It's a massive thing, but what if basically the form we're seeing is not what it looks like it was part of Joy Boy's crew, you know? It was cursed.
I mean, yeah, I think we talked about, like, not in this podcast, but I think we talked about this already, that I can't even say who of us came up with the idea, but that the elephant might be Lily.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I think I was part of the discussion. It wasn't me who brought it up, but I was part of the discussion because I said, if you think about it, we've had many instances where certain animals would act a certain way with people, like that mouse with Sanji, or that lion cow that was with Otama in Wano, helping them, you know. And it kind of makes us think of the toys in Dressrosa trying to help people, not realizing the people don't realize those toys are members of their own family who were forgotten, you know. So it could be a thing where certain people are turned into animals, and they're people that are connected to them, but they can't talk to them because whenever they talk, all they hear is animal sound.
Would that also mean maybe Sengoku has some kind of person that was turned into a goat with him and he's just taking care of them?
Can be as
I don't
simple
know,
as that.
It could be his own, but yeah, it could be that too. Yeah. Or
I'm pretty sure the goat is a goat from what Oda said to us.
Is the Sengoku's goat? It's so sus, eh? But you think it's just a goat?
I mean, we know. It's. I mean, it could be more than that. But he was saying a zoan. But what we know, right? The goat is. It is a goat.
I think it might also have something to do with the aura he gives off with his mythical devil fruit, the Buddha one. Because yeah, I thought maybe it has something to do with him being like having that fruit, and just the aura of a Buddha attracts animals, and that's why you see him with the gorilla and a goat, and he just becomes friends with them. So and that's why he's friends with Garp, monkey. Okay, go on.
Haven't people been speculating that a goat might be rocks?
I never considered that. It could be. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know if it was just me thinking about it in my head without telling anyone, or if I actually heard.
I've heard the whole emu could be the goat, but rocks, I've never even heard anyone talk about that.
I mean, think about it. Like, we don't know what happened to rocks, right? And Garp and Roger were fighting Xebec, and at some point they defeated him. And Sengoku is pretty close to Garp and maybe also to Roger at some point. And who knows, maybe they came to an agreement at some point, and Rox was like, I can't even come up with a good scenario.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to give you all the chances. I'm trying to give you all the chances right now.
Listen, no. Let me talk, okay? So they've been talking about the Lurkin legend over and over, like, and people said the Lurkin legend is this. The Lurkin legend is that it's Shiki and whatnot. But when we recall what Oda said about the Lurkin legend, he said he's gonna reveal a Lurkin legend in 2019, 20 during Jump Festa or something like that.
Yes.
And at that moment, they were in Wano, and he was basically implying that the Lurkin legend will be revealed in Wano, and people were like, "Oh, it must be Kaido," but we have seen Kaido before that already. He's got introduced to us when he jumped from the Sky Island, right? So in my opinion, it can't be Kaido. But then there was no one else throughout the whole arc who could like fit to what Oda said. None at all. So I came to the conclusion that maybe the Lurkin legend actually is the big skull on Onigashima, because it belongs to a legend. But now that I think about it, I bet we have seen the goat through the whole Wano thing as well. But on the other hand, sorry, I'm rambling on, but I need to finish this. But on the other hand, Oda also said that the Lurkin legend will be in the way of the Straw Hats. And beside Kaido and all his goons, there was no one else being in the way of the Straw Hats, unless you count actually the big skull dome as well, because it was literally in the way, right? They had to get past it because all the enemies are on
also,
there.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. I kind of sidetracked from the goat now.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you just proved to us that it can't be the goat. The goat was introduced
long time ago. Way before that. The goat was introduced, I think, when they first showed Sengoku with the warlords. I think the goat was there with him.
Yeah. Like I said, around Eni's lobby, because it was around that time. Well, Giants, the first time we saw Sengoku. Yeah, but Sengoku, the first time we saw him, he was in the goat
demoted?
What?
No, what I mean is...
No, it has no rank.
Because at one point, the goat got replaced by a gorilla.
Yeah.
What?
Well, no.
Listen. Listen.
What?
The gorilla was one of the zoo animals that escaped on.
Oh, is that all that it was?
Yeah, I think it was a toy. It was a toy or something, and it became it was a gorilla.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that piece of detail.
Because
I thought Sengoku just like cycle through pets. You know?
Like Luffy can get people to follow him, right? Like he has like influence over them. Sengoku has that same power, but with animals.
It makes sense that he's with a gorilla, right? Because he's Goku.
Well, no, because he's friends with Garp and Monkey.
You guys are crazy. But listen, Cube, you are right. I just proven myself that a goat can't be rocks. That the goat can't be the lurking legend, but it doesn't mean that a goat can't be rocks.
Yeah. Okay. With that in mind, I'm gonna say this. You are right that I'm pretty sure for me the lurking legend. I'll say this. Even though I love that it's rocks, I think it's a Nika economy. Because if you look at how Luffy was explained and some of the stuff they're talking about, it does seem that they were alluding to Joy Boy, a lurking legend. And then they showed this frozen straw hat. I don't think they meant this for lurking, there was a straw hat, but what it represented. And I think a Joy Boy of the past, and that Joy Boy is coming back.
What if it is?
Yeah. Because what word did they use the first time they talked about the possibility of Joy Boy returning? What did Jupiter say when he didn't believe it? It can't, as we all know, it's just a legend. They even use the term legend when talking about the Nika for the first time. It's when I did a reread of Wano that I caught on to that, when they used that term.
It was interesting because it made it seem like they weren't around during the Void Century almost.
Well, at least Jupiter. Because I think, who was it? It was Mars and Saturn seems convinced.
I feel like the Gorosei, they're all quite synced, right? So I feel like if one of them thinks that, I feel like that is a collective thought in a way, because they have that weird like hive minds kind of thing. Like I agree that it was just Jupiter that said it, but I feel like it's quite likely that they all feel like that's just a legend.
But here's the problem with this. When Luffy transformed, Saturn looked at him with a knowing face and he was like, Nika, ... like with regret. And that kind of gave me the vibe that he knew Nika, that he has seen this already.
I agree, but there could be a Nika that was there during the Void Century, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Gomu fruit was tied to it at that time, right?
Well, there are for sure confirmed multiple Nikas, because there is one on Fishman Island. One of the twins or whatever, those quadruplets.
I mean that thing is a no-brainer for me anyway. Like the fruit has the power of Nika, so this is obviously implying that there has been someone who had these powers without the fruit already, right?
Exactly. So the legend part could be that there is a fruit that has the powers of Nika, even though they may have indeed met the Nika of the Void Century, right? So both could be true at the same time.
Yeah. I was just going to say also, like, if someone brought it up, it's not one of my theories. It's years ago. But someone proved that basically, he proved that the Gorosei don't have it, either not here at the same length or don't have the same relationship between one another and Imu on the way they introduce themselves to Imu. Only 3 of them walk forward while 2 of them stayed back. And then when they kneeled, it started with 3 of them, then the other 2 kneeled. And someone brought it up that it seems that 2 of the Gorosei either for some reason did not want to walk forward in front of Imu, or maybe it's because they were trying to show a relationship. Like there's 3 Gorosei who are older than the other 2. Like 2 replaced.
Okay, I'm
2
sorry.
replacements.
Finish.
And you
go.
We can see that in the and the other thing I was gonna say is, I do think it will have a satellite type of situation, but we'll see that the Gorosei are doing it all wrong, because even so, Kuso said they have a hive mind, they don't seem, the Nika for this example, that it does seem that their hive mind isn't in sync. Because if one would believe and have the proof in his mind that he is Nika, why wouldn't all of them, you know what I mean? They immediately click if they have, if they share one mind. So it does seem that, I'm not saying they don't have a hive mind, but I think it's, you know what I mean? It's corrupted,
I do think they have their own agendas. Yeah.
And thus,
no, you're right.
They don't fully share. It's like with hypnosis. We know hypnosis, people can get hypnotized, but we all know also it's about a mental state. If someone doesn't believe it, we've heard it many times, it's just gonna fail wrongly. So it could be also that.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Andy?
Oh yeah. It's with rocks. What if I don't know? I'm pretty sure this has been mentioned before, plenty of times. But what if it's Rock's star is connected to rocks? Because rocks Tar.
Andy.
Rocks is in the name. Rocks, T-A-R. So Rocks, Tar Rocks. Rocks Tar. They agree it's his son. And he's in
What about
Shanks'
Bear
crew.
Rock
What-
works
Okay,
then?
yeah.
huh?
Okay, Andy, is Whitebeard a stupid blind man? Because Whitebeard saw him, discredit him.
This is exactly what Oda wanted. It's poetic.
Yeah, no. I mean, think of it. I'll say this: the best candidate of someone being Rox's kid would be Buggy. The moment he saw Buggy, he immediately manipulated him and then told Marco, "If I let that guy run wild, he'll be a pain in my ass."
But Buggy doesn't have star in his epithet, right?
He has a
Buggy,
star
the
clown.
clown, Buggy, nothing like that, right? He does.
No, time
Is
skip.
that for
time
right
skip
now,
after
or
the
is
time
that for a
skip.
previous title here? Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's star in the name, Rockstar. And then if you want to connect the goat to it, there is a volume cover where we see the goat standing over a star.
No, don't do that.
What?
You
No?
cannot connect Buggy the Star Clown to Rockstar and say it's connected to Rocks, Andy. That doesn't work.
I mean,
Rockstar does
wait,
have
no,
nothing to do.
he's right. No,
They
Mark,
have like
he's
the
right.
same hairstyle. If you
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
they-
Mark, he's right. He's right. Think about it. And the Gorosei, who are all the 5 Elder Star, are all different versions of rocks that failed. You know, it's basically it's a story about how rocks is a failure in all the different shapes, and basically, but also Luffy is also rocks, and I think Sanjay is also rocks. I'm just messing.
Man, I swear I can't wait for Rocks to be revealed already so we can get over with this.
But however, I have something to talk about, and I'm happy you guys brought up the goat, because I would like to introduce you to the goat of Sengoku, which I believe was the reason why Sword kept being hidden from the world. I think that's what the goat kept eating pre-time skip. Paperwork that would prove Sword agents making moves.
yes, getting rid of the evidence. I love
Yeah,
that.
getting rid of the
That's true,
evidence.
though.
And Sengoku would just
So
remember. Sengoku would
That's
just
so nice.
would give one paper, and the goat would just eat it. And it would be as simple as that, you know. The goat is the shredder of the One Piece community.
Pretty much.
Oh, Michael.
So I know Kuso want to derail the conversation, but before you go to
Hmm.
that, I fact checked earlier. So about Otohime and Poseidon, she said, however, according to the recordings of the royal family, once in every few centuries, a mermaid is born with the ability to understand and communicate with even the mighty sea
Okay.
kings. So every few centuries, that's very
extremely
vague.
vague.
Oda's leaving the doors open here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna see if, or else, but no, it could be another discussion. But Suide had something. She had wrote up a theory, and it explained about the Asian weapons. But it's an SBS. Don't worry, we don't have to tell. If I can't find it, I'll find it for the next podcast. We might re-enter to it
Yo, with
because it was something interesting.
Yeah, with 3-day you mean like one of your crewmates of the last arc, right?
3-day, the Queen 3-day. She's more than just a crewmate of the last arc. She's the queen of the last arc.
We have to give context for the listeners. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's true. It's 3-day. It's true. Yes, 3-day. The
Absolute
queen
goat.
of my heart, as any member of TLA, you know, she's the goat. You know, she's the best. Not the goat of Sengoku. She's a better goat. She's the greatest of all time. Anyways, that's besides the point.
Wow.
Kuso, shoot.
Okay. So it's something that Cube said a little earlier about like portals being open at certain time of the day kind of thing. And then it just made me think about something. Remember how like in your theory, Mars, you talked about gates quite a bit? How there's like quite a lot of gates in the story of...
How could I forget that, man?
And like, you know how it's like, it's always that kind of similar shape of like a half circle?
Yeah.
And think about a sunset or a sunrise. What does the sun look like?
True.
And what if Tequila Wolf is a bridge that is heading towards the edge of the sea? I know this sounds completely bonkers.
You are probably spot on. That's so
And
good.
so even in Binks' sake, right?
Yes, it works with the sun
exactly.
as well. Yeah.
And so that is a portal. It's only at a very particular time of the day that you can actually enter this portal, which is, it sounds completely magical. It sounds completely bonkers. But that's what like people back in the days believed, right? That there was indeed an edge of the world. And it's even in Binks' sake, which is like, I don't know, something about like...
Okay, the only problem I have with this is two things. First of all, how did Roger get there without a bridge? And secondly, why are they building the bridge in the middle of the ocean without connecting it first to the red line or whatever?
I think the bridge is such a weird one, right, to kill a wolf. It's like, I can think of it as two possible things. Like, it could be some sort of a weird promise that has to be kept. Almost like Zunisha, how he always has to walk, or how Blackbeard can never sleep. It's kind of like, it's some weird thing, like a contractual thing that has to be done almost. But the other thing is, you're right. Like, why is it in the middle of the ocean? Like, what is it linking, right? And what if it was like just the celestial dragons? They're just lazy, you know? They just want like an easy access to it. It makes no sense.
I could see that, but then why didn't they connect it to the red line first?
Yeah, like, it's full of so many holes, but like visually and thematically, it would be super interesting, right? And like, and then with Roger as well, I guess it's like, I'm sure there are other ways other than the bridge that you can actually use that portal.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I really like the idea that you just sail into the sun while it's like going down or up
at that exact moment, and then enter through it.
I mean, just imagine Luffy with his powers now. He's just like holding it open. He's just like jumping on the rim. Yeah, he's just jumping on the rim of the ocean line. Like, he's actually standing on it, even though it's water, and he holds the sun open.
Like, normally,
he's like, okay, guys.
Like, normally it would be full of plot holes, right? Like, it makes no sense scientifically. And Oda prides himself on me like, oh, I like to keep my stories quite scientifically kind of wrapped up, right? But then you think about the fact that
it's
exactly.
So
like, anything can happen at this point. So I don't know. Maybe could be a thing.
I really like that.
I mean, we know that there is going to be something to that extent, especially with how they went to Skypiea. They needed a certain animal, and without the animal, and the animal knew when exactly the knock option was going to hit. So it does go what you're saying about there's usually a certain set in time, you know, which would make sense for me. You know, you've all heard me. I said for Laughtale, if it's something like that, it's at the end of the day, it'll be like for Jaya. It'll take the whole thing is to find a certain animal.
What do you think the animal will be? Would it be a dragon, a bull?
It will be an animal that when they're going to read the information about poneglyphs, like whatever the information is going to give them, I think it's going to hint them. It's going to tell them everything they need to go to Laughtale, especially the animal. And with the way the animal is going to be explained, because of the Straw Hats and how they are, they're all going to realize what animal it is because they interact with an animal like that. And if you look at every arc in One Piece, what is the one adventure that each Straw Hat get their solo adventure with they interact with some sort of creature at one point. Not all every arc, but if you look at it in every arc, there's at least always Luffy with someone else of the group interact with animals. You know, in Drum Island, Luffy did not interact with the same animals as in Little Garden. In Little Garden, it wasn't like the same ones when it did in Wano, you know, and vice versa.
I mean, speaking about Chopper, I would like to bring up the GOAT agenda again. What if we're put in a scenario where, because, you know, Chopper could talk to animals. If Chopper comes in contact with that goat, we'll know what that goat is saying. And that goat has been seen buying, talking. So what would he say to Chopper? Maybe who knows? Maybe like Chopper's like, this goat's crazy.
You know what's the goat's going to say to Chopper? Okay, I'm going to lean forward for this. Yo, buddy, it's me, Roxy Xebec. But don't tell anyone.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing.
Because no one's going to believe you.
Yeah.
Damn. I love that.
Can the minks communicate with animals?
That's a good question. I don't know. They never really. That's a good question for Oda, actually.
Because, like, you know, the fishmen, they can, and the mermaids, they can communicate with fish, right? So, just felt like it would be logical.
Can they? I thought that was just Shirahoshi.
No. Kaimi, Jinbei, They all did it.
Yeah, but I think Jinbei and the others from the way it's Kuso, I might be wrong on this, but I think it's more like they could communicate but not interact, while Shiroshi could actually talk back to them and hear what they say.
They might just understand them or understand each other, maybe.
Or maybe that was just Sea Kings, but it doesn't that Shiroshi literally was able to hear them.
They can use like sound waves to communicate to them, but you're right. I'm not sure if they can communicate back per se. They did that whole thing where like they made an arrow out of like the school of fish. So like they can communicate, but you're right. They don't like speak back to them.
Well, in this situation I think the minks could be very similar to what the fishermen are doing. Because Chopper is a special case, if you think about it. He's an animal who became human. Minks they're born this, you know what I mean? They never had that full instinct aspect to it. So it could also be because of that, He's lived both life as a beast and as a person, as a man.
No, it totally makes sense as a kid,
Chopper. Yeah. But it's actually an interesting thought because even though they can't even talk with them, there might be a way that they can talk to, since fishermen are sea creatures, land creatures, So there could be a way that they communicate, or maybe even, how fishermen could call for a fish, while certain minks, because of the electro, they can release some sort of impulse, nerve impulse or something, or some electricity blast, and somehow it's going. How certain animals seems to hold through electromagnetic fields or vibration. It can be something like that as well.
Well, what if okay, so we know fudge. What was I gonna say? It was pretty mind blowing. It was about Chopper.
How good it was.
The animals. Okay. It's back with the goat. We're back to the goat again. Okay, let's say Chopper is talking to the goat, but then Chopper's like, "What the f is this goat saying? I don't understand it." Because we don't know yet if you're a zone and you're in your animal form as a zone. Can you speak animal? Or you just because we've seen them. They talk like humans.
But then
I think they could.
But then
so the goat is literally pretending to be a goat by going ba, which means nothing to Chopper because Chopper could. You get what I'm trying to say?
Now I get you. Okay.
So Chopper's why this goat's not making any sense. I don't know what he's saying, and it'll be a gag. But it's because they're hiding.
Okay.
It's his full animal form, and he could talk.
That makes sense. There's a similar situation in Baldur's Gate 3 where you talk to some oxes or whatever. Or is it goats too? I don't know. And if you're able to speak with animals, this is a D&D thing, my dear listeners, but you can have the ability to speak with animals in that, right? And if you talk with these, you can hear all the animals, but one of them just goes moo. Though you're supposed to be able to talk to them. Yeah, that's actually
interesting.
You're crazy for this, Andy. How do you even think about that shit?
You come up with the most bizarre. We can't encourage it too much.
Yeah, I can really imagine it. Chopper standing in front of the goat, right?
Yeah.
It's chewing on some paper, and Chopper's like, "Oh, yo, what are you doing?" And the goat's like, "Bah," and Chopper's like, "Weird. I can't understand him." And then you see the little sweat drop running down on the forehead of the goat. And oh shit, he's gone on me.
Yeah, interesting. Oh my god, that happens. But how are they gonna get in contact with each other? Sengoku would have to go to where the Straw Hats are. The closest time that was on Dressrosa. They were technically on the same island at one point, I think.
Listen. We can reach a bit here, right? The first ship of the Straw Hats. What was that, Andy? Come on, tell me. See, here you have the connection already.
I don't know. I mean, here's one reason why the goat can't be rocks, right? Is because
come on,
paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. It's simple as that.
Wait, it just puts some.
We've seen the goat eating paper. But if the goat is rocks, the rock cannot be paper.
No, listen. Look at the hooves of the goat. How does it look like?
What?
Yeah,
what?
just
like rocks.
No, like scissors. Just look at Choppers. Whenever they do.
Oh my god!
Whenever they did paper, scissors, rock, Chopper only could do
this
scissors.
Is stupid.
No, there was even an SBS about this where someone asked Oda how Chopper's paper, scissors, rock looks like, and all the even paper and scissors looked like this.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
You're onto something. You got a point, Mark.
To be fair, he could just turn into what is it, like arm point? No, giant point. Man, I'm such a fraud.
He could do that, but I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I think that was an SBS, and you saw him, and Oda was like, "Oh, this is Chopper's paper. This is Chopper's rock," and everything looked the same.
Knowing Chopper, I feel like he won't think about going into his human form.
Wait, is Chopper the only animal that can speak human language?
Because of the human fruit. Because of the human fruit. He explained that in Alabasta.
No, but yeah, of course, but that's not the only way you could possibly have that happen, right?
Listen,
surely.
We were talking about this in the last episode. Don't forget Papag.
Oh yeah.
What the F is Papag?
Yeah, there we go.
But he's not an animal. He's not an animal.
Oh my God, get Andy out of here.
Yeah.
What is he?
It's the starfish.
He's a starfish.
I know what he is, but like, is he a star? Isn't like his like whole just like his bio like kind of sus? It looks like he's sewn up also.
So the reason why he thought he was a human is because the word for starfish in Japanese is hitote, and the word hito it means human. And so that's why he thought he was human, is because that the word is in there. It's like a bloody wordplay.
Yeah. I mean, with Chopper, he did give an explanation of how, it's how his fruit works. So it makes sense. Like, there could be more. I mean, there could be some animals who could speak to humans. They're just going to give the context. Because right now, the one person we know of as Chopper is because he has a human fruit.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Papugs.
So the title of this episode is Rocks the Goat and how Papag
Guys, it was under our eyes the whole time.
No, the title of this episode would be Q. You know what? I'm gonna say this after this 10-minute discussion. Now I know how it feels to be Robin in the middle of a discussion between Usopp, Luffy, and Chopper sometimes.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Papug is rocks because rock star. He's a starfish.
Dude, Andy's the type of person who hears the word stars and it has to be about rocks. Okay, he's just a Gorse.
No. Listen, he's onto something.
The five elder stars.
Listen, guys. Yeah. This is a callback to last episode. Now, if Wapol eats the goat and Papag, then we get Rockstar out of it.
Hey man, listen. I'm just excited because when we're gonna find out that Garp is actually Garp, that Rocks is actually Garp, I'm gonna be saying, that goat. Man. Where is it now? Where is it now?
We have been there.
I'm gonna literally tell everyone.
I'll be eating that goat. You know what?
Been there, bro.
No. The day that we'll get the reveal, because the goat, I would agree anything for Rocks, but the goat thing. The day we find out it's not the goat, I'm gonna be going on stream with you guys, and I'm gonna be eating goat's meat just in front of you guys. I'm saying this is your hope and dreams.
I actually
guys.
had a goat stew the other day. It was delicious. It was really good.
I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna say, guys, this is your hope and dream.
So
being munched away by my teeth.
Rocks, just know, Cube. I have always backed that idea from you.
I know.
I love it.
Listen, dear listeners, obviously you cannot know that, but our friend Cube here has the agenda that Roxy Xebec is Garp. Or the other way around. They're of it. Same person. What do you want?
Listen, I have a video. You should check it on TLA. And before, just to tease it, I have a question to ask you all. What is Garp's marine name? That is all.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot just stop there.
You got
No. I'll tease them. It's teasing. I've got the video's already out, so I'll just tease. It's just teasing.
We can link it in the
we'll link
the description. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, we will probably put all the links under there.
Wait, anyway, hold on. I'm still thinking about the Garp the Fist thing. Like
the what?
What is
Garp the Fist? You said his marine name, right? Garp the Fist.
No, that's
mean because epithet. Fist is a rock?
No.
Like Pegasus Rock?
That's his epithet. That's his, like, think about it. Kizaru is called the Yellow Monkey, right?
Yeah.
But his marine name is either Borsalino or Kizaru. Same thing for Sakazuki and Aokiji. You look at every marine of them, they have like one of those two. Garp does have the epithet, but he has no marine name or real name. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that. He only has Garp.
Isn't he the Navy hero or whatever?
But that's not a marine name. That's just an epithet. That's just a title. Borsalino or Kizaru isn't like an epithet. It's a marine name. It's one of them is a fish name. That's what I'm saying, you know.
So what's the marine name of John Giant?
John the Giant.
No, so I thought like it was only the admiral candidates that have it.
I think so too, to be honest.
Possibly. Well, technically, Garp is supposed to be an admiral, so.
Yeah,
also, no, I know. But in terms of what Oda thinks is the admirals, like all the people that we've had with like Aokiji, Aka, what did you call it? Epithets? No, you called them titles?
Red
the
dog,
marine name.
Green
marine name, yeah.
Marine name, right. So all the ones that have been mentioned so far, they all fit within the zodiac, right? The Chinese zodiac. And so that's what I thought Oda was going for. And then, yeah, of course, it totally makes sense that Garp wouldn't be in there because we already have Aka Inu. Oh my god, I'm such a fool today. What is wrong with me?
Akianu.
So we already have a dog, right?
It's Akianu, but go on.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we already have a dog of the zodiac, so that's why Garp can't be one of the admirals, right? It doesn't fit thematically.
But Garp literally wears a dog thing, like hat. Like
no,
that's
I know.
When we first see him.
Yeah.
And again, another point, because I can see Marv wanting to discredit me as much as possible. You know, that's Marv. You know, who else is the only Marine that Oda gave us that told us he has no sense of justice because it would depend on his freedom? Garp.
To be fair,
he's a unique Marine.
Do we have a goat? Like a marine goat?
I mean, Garp is the greatest of all time, so I don't know if he's considered to be a goat. But
the closest thing to a marine goat is the goat, Sengoku's goat, because he's like, with the Marines.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was he one of the admirals, and he got turned into a goat? Like we have no admiral candidates.
That could have been possible. Yeah.
I'm sure.
My headcanon, actually, now that I think about it, was that the goat was Luffy's mom.
The stock Why do you think he's wearing of that goat with you guys, with us, is crazy. That goat is getting a lot. I'm sure the goat, when he's going to listen to our podcast, he'll be sipping his tea and be saying,
"Why do you think that
keep on going? What? Keep on going."
What if that bell is super important? Like whenever whenever a human rings that bell, it does something. And the goat's
he also breaks the fourth wall at one point. He like walks across the screen, looks at us, like looks directly at us at the camera, right? So something's going on there.
Wait, are you serious? I think I remember that. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah, like in the manga, he even looks super menacing. Yeah, there's like shadows over his face as if he's like plotting something. In the anime, he looks way less like nefarious, but like he still like comes across the screen, turns around and looks directly at the camera.
So if you can find that for me later, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Show it because I'm also curious about that.
All right.
But I want to give a call back to why Garp is wearing that doggy hoodie or whatever you want to call it. So as far as I know, Oda gave him that because people who read like the one shots of One Piece would have recognized him as a family member of Luffy, and he wanted to hide him as long as possible. And that's why he put the dog thingy on his.
Also, I would like to add that he's a government dog. So.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why we have so many dog-related admirals and.
So what's with the government? What's with the government rats and mouses then?
Oh, they're beneath that.
And then there's all the mice we see in the cover stories. They're especially with Sanji. They love cooking with him. What's up with that?
Wait, no.
I mean, you're talking about actually like rats, like people you can't trust, not actual animal rats.
No, listen, that's literally.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I know that guy from Arlong Park.
Yeah, and there was another one.
And then his dad as well.
Yeah,
that was his dad. Well. It was there was like a recent one. Yeah,
was it like Rat-a-tat or something? No, that's a Pokemon.
It was on Sphinx Island, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sphinx Island. Yeah.
Actually, I might have something on the Sanji and the mouse if you're curious. There's actually a very famous...
I knew where you're going with this. Yeah. Let's go.
And it connects to the Tooth Fairy as well. Basically, in French countries, there's basically a fairy tale, but a fairy tale legend, if you prefer, it's called The Little Mouse. It's specifically in France and in Belgium where I live. When I was a kid, when I moved back in Europe and Belgium from the States, when I was 12 years old, Like in school, we were talking about the little mouse, and it basically is a story of the tooth fairy, but with a mouse. And
that's
it's
not where I
French.
thought you were going with it.
What are you going with? What do you thought I was going with?
I thought you were gonna go with the other story, the kid's story, where like the mouse saves the lion or something.
Oh, that one. Where it pulls
You remember
out
that
like
one?
a thorn out of the paw.
Yeah, something like that, right? And then
Yeah.
the lion decides not to eat the mouse or something.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like the Sanji's family's carriage is a cat as well, right? And then he's part of the Straw Hat Pirates, the symbolism of which is a lion as well. So I thought that's where you go with it. But I like the tooth thing.
And there's two things, because I have it in my notes. I spoke about with, some people on TLA a few months ago. What's interesting is there are two things. The mouse is actually a fairy that turned into a mouse to fight an evil king. And interesting enough, the mouse has something very specific. It's genderless. They don't know if it's a man or a female. Which you think of Sanji, where did he train for 2 years? With the Okamas, who are people who are both male and female.
Oh, now I know where you're going. Okay.
Yeah, you see what I mean? So it's interesting.
So you're implying Sanji's gonna become a fairy?
But there aren't fairies like established to be like the Bottomman and Tontadas?
I'm sorry. You caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. No comment, like Kuso would love to say. No comment.
And then there's fairy Verth.
What do you mean? I always comment.
You don't comment all the time.
The Club Bottomman thing, they are not really fairies, but they go into a similar direction, yeah.
Yeah, you know how they're called boat fairy Clubbarman. I think that's where Andy was going this. Do you guys believe? Because I looked at the weaponry that they were using Clubbarman, right? It isn't that much different what Odin was using when he was doing the poneglyphs. Do you believe that
they have weapons?
I mean, they're tools. I didn't mean weapons. I meant tools.
It's like
they have
what?
nuclear warheads.
So, and since it seems to be very similar to what Odin was holding in his hand, from what I remembered in the Odin flashback, in Skypiea, and interesting enough, where did Usopp see the going merry in Skypiea? So, do you guys think that maybe since they're both fairies, they're maybe like stone fairies, and some poneglyphs are being made by Clubbarman, their own version of a Clubbarman? They have such a strong desire that they start writing the story, not to be forgotten, on stone. Not saying all poneglyphs are made by those stone fairies. I'm just saying maybe a select few,
I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty fixated on the fact that the Kosuke wrote all the poneglyphs. Like, you need to prove more things, or like bring more evidence or whatever to convince me that not all of them are made by the Kosuke.
Dude, hey, listen, I'm just starting a discussion. He just told me, listen, dude, it has to be all the Kozuki. There's no discussion whatsoever. But if you could show me some proof that doesn't exist, when I told you it was just an interesting thought. So you know what, man? I understand why the Celestial Dragons goes after Vegapunk now. I understand the feeling now.
What do you mean? No,
I'm just messing. I'm just kidding around. Just trolling, man.
Question: Will San Juan Wolf, the colossal battleship, get a Clubbarman?
Hell no. He's not a ship. It's just what they call him.
It's in the name, bro. It's in the name.
My God, like...
I mean, what is a ship, right? A ship is anything that can take you to a destination.
Who actually came up with this anyway? Like, I've heard that a lot lately.
What's his face? The guy who may or may not be dead. Frankie's mentor. His name?
Vin Diesel.
Tom.
Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious.
Tom.
Yeah. Puffing Tom. No, that's a
train. Yeah.
Was it based on Tom the Thomas the Tank Engine?
Tom.
I mean, obviously.
The burn scar.
Obviously, yeah.
Nah, I don't know. What happened to Tom? Tom, he got like shot, right?
Listen here, Tom is not dead.
But
Tom built, in fact, the mother frame. He was responsible for building it. Vegapunk gave the ideas, Tom built it. That's what I think is happening.
Possibly, yeah. No, that could be, yeah. Because we don't know Tom's fate, right? He was like, the last thing we saw of him, he was getting shot at, right? Or was that what happened? I don't remember.
Well, he
No,
wasn't
no.
actually
He was sentenced.
to death, right?
Yeah,
Because of Frankie.
that's the thing. The last thing we knew was that he was transported to Annie's lobby. And I really think that they made him do something, because obviously it would be a waste of talent to just kill him there. Like, they enslave every person they can get that can, like...
Yeah, I mean,
pull
from the Impel Down arc,
Yeah.
right, we see that they don't really kill people very often.
Yeah, Tom 100% not dead. I really
Yeah.
think they made him build another frame. This will be another tragic... Like, Frankie's not getting anything because that is gonna happen, in my opinion. Like, we've been craving for Frankie action. Like, we are on Eckhead right now, and Frankie's getting nothing. And the reason for that is because I think we will get another tragic moment with Frankie. Like, when he realizes that Tom is still alive, but he's in really bad shape, and he's responsible for building that weapon. And that will perfectly mirror what Frankie did back then when he built his little weapons there. And Tom was like, "Yo, you should not feel sorry about building them, because just because you build them doesn't mean you wanted them to destroy things," something like that. Don't quote me, right? But now it's the complete opposite. Like, whatever Tom said back then to Frankie, he might eat his words now, because he's responsible for creating a huge weapon that or building a huge weapon that took out an entire island, if not even more.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, slightly derailing. All these people that are coming back now, like Soul and potentially Tom, right? Do you think Oda's just bringing them back so that we can have, like, emotional damage?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and if you know what, I think, in my opinion, that is good writing. Like, I know I'm very alone on the wide field of the One Piece fan.
You're not alone.
Okay, at least someone. But whenever people talk about fake out theirs and all that, they get angry, and I get it. Like, yeah, probably Kinemon should have been dead, right? But
Which time should he have been dead?
But to be honest, like, I get it. Like, and you know what? I hate it too. Not only as someone who writes stories, but as someone who enjoys stories. Whenever I was reading something and one of my favorite characters died, or someone I just learned to like, Snape, maybe, if that's a good example. And then they just take him from me. I was like, no, why? Like, so I get it why Oda doesn't want to kill characters off so easily. But yeah, that aside, I mean, Kinemon is probably a bit problematic, same as Pell.
That was complete overkill the way he didn't die, right?
Yeah,
So-
but
All right,
yeah.
I'll let you finish, then I'll jump
sorry.
in.
Let me just finish that real quick. So, the Fake Out there's maybe not super cool writing wise, but I don't think that they are so bad that it ruins the whole story for me. Like, at least that's how I feel when some people are talking about them sometimes. And,
Yeah, I'll be honest, I agree.
And that said, I don't think Saul coming back is a problem at all. And in fact, like, I was even crying a little bit when I saw Robin's face. And the same would be for Tom. And it's just great dramatic writing, because he never was. So no one ever said he was dead. So
No, it's actually pretty consistent, because Aokiji generally doesn't kill, right?
Exactly. So and who else would be able to like build something that Vegapunk like scribble down as a blueprint, if not Tom? Okay, I'm done.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bear with me, because I'm gonna spit a bit, and I'm gonna explain to you why. If it's any other shonen, I would agree. Marv is right about, even though we don't see big problems, but we understand why the community is so upset. And I'll explain why in One Piece I think it doesn't have the same effect. Is because in One Piece, if you think about it, it's always been like that. Ever since the East Blue up until now, death haven't had the same toll. Like, it seems like, and for me it does work, because it's a story about all propaganda. There seems that people are able to live so long, and then suddenly you're being removed certain type of people, So it kind of makes me think that I think it fits with the whole Void Centurion cycle. The best way to make people forget It's also having certain people, so recycling the people, and it makes a great story. And like I said, when you have people like Pell or Pound to survive, but then when you see people like Clover, Pedro, Nolan, Roger, people we know seen on panel die, Odin, Toki, they were willing, ready to die. You know what I mean? They're ready to move on in a way. So it does seem like we've never seen someone like cry, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Like, think even Ace, he accepted his death. He even took the hit for Luffy.
Yeah.
So he's been showing narrative-wise that people even choose their own death in One Piece, which is, I do agree, it's odd. But since there's no precedence of people, like, if it was like, best example is Naruto. Because I know some people follow the podcast. For all those who are not up to date to Naruto, shame on you. So you should just mute up, remove the sound for like 15 seconds. The Edo Tensei's arc, where basically you get all those people, or the end of the Pain arc, where everyone comes back. You do not understand anything, but in the story, they constantly show people dying normally. So that's why it's a problem. And I think in One Piece, the One Piece is written, is I think, like, I'm a big believer that I think Ace Whitebeard, when they're gonna undo, is gonna bring back everyone like in Dragon Ball. And I already know that one person is not dead. It is Kuma's mother. Like, the way she just was off panel, they showed, I believe his father was killed, but his mother was moved off panel. And then his father said, she's gone now. She's in heaven, which is interesting statement considering that paradise, if someone said she's in paradise, you would think, oh, okay, the grand line. What if heaven is actually a place in the world of One Piece? It's not like this afterlife, but it's actually a place in Marijoa where people are locked away. It can be simple as that. So that's why it doesn't bother me in One Piece. And that's because there's never been a contradiction in the past. You know what I mean? Like Marineford, think of it. Only the fathers died, and only Whitebeard and Ace died on the named people, which is crazy if you think of Marineford. Then you look at Wano. A lot of the people who died seems to be people ready to move on. Ashura Doji, Izo, people who are ready to move on. Then look at King. How did he defeat? He did not believe in Kaido. Zoro believed in Luffy. That's all I was going to say.
Oda does take great thought in when he decides to kill characters off, right? Because like in stories like Dragon Ball and Naruto, characters can just come back through a ninjutsu or the Dragon Ball. There's just a plot device that allows people to come back. But in the story of One Piece, characters can only come back through like flashbacks, for example. Like, we are almost reliving it through the flashbacks, but we know that these characters have already died. Like Odin, we already knew that he had already died, but we were going through this whole flashback as if we're reliving it, right? So that's the only way in which characters can come back. And so I get it, right? Oda's putting a lot of effort into making sure that characters stay alive, whether it be Pao or Kinemon. Like, it's or like Pound. He cares about these characters just as much as we do.
Yeah. And even for Odin, you could make the argument that, remember how many people were like, he's not dead, he's going to come back. Like, oh, this might be
really?
Odin.
People are saying that?
Yeah. Whenever you saw some shadows, like, the scene where the red scabbards are on the Scout Dome and they are like heavily injured, and you see the shadow, and people were like, oh, this might be Enel. This might be this. There was also people who said, this is Odin, he's back. Like,
so did people completely flip when Kanjuro turned into Odin? They were like, oh my God.
Technically was I flipped. I remember I was like, oh my effing God, it's Odin. Oh my God. But yeah, that was like, everybody was like, no, it's not. It can't be.
Okay, I don't want to sound smart, but I knew right away that it was Kanjuro because of the fucking smug face he put on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was effed up though what he did to the scabbards with.
It was so bad.
Mainly that too, also pretending to be Odin. Like,
I mean, Kanjuro was the best. Let's not deny he was the best trader. He was willing to die for the cause. He was in the borderline with everyone else. Like that's.
Yeah,
I
he
still
was
say
next
that
level.
Kanjuro was like the best trader of all time in One Piece right now.
Will we see someone top that in the Void Century flashback?
Yep. Imu. Pretty sure of it.
I agree.
It would make sense.
I agree.
It would make sense. It's Imu.
And I think it would be the betrayal of a family member as well, just like we saw with Blackbeard. Like, imagine a relationship like Luffy, Ace, and Sabo. Imagine if one of those guys betrayed the other brothers.
What
I feel like that would be the level.
Also, Lily's brother, what if he wanted to be ruler and he didn't want his sister to be queen? He thought she was doing bad, and he plotted for her not to come back. So he took over, right? The brother after.
I feel like that wouldn't make sense, right? Because if you think about the lineage and follow down to who the brother was, that's actually Vivi's ancestor, right? So you're essentially saying that the brother was an asshole, and then somehow it turned out that like Cobra and Vivi turned out to be these amazing people.
No, you're right.
It's not even that. Think about something, right? Let's say that he wanted to get rid of his sister, right? Despise her and everything. Why keep his letter hidden in the family and giving to rulers, to keep her memories stayed in? Because remember what he said, Cobra? There is nothing officially that proves that Lily ever existed. But the only reason why they know about Lily is because of that letter being passed on from king to king.
I mean, even the poneglyph being hidden down below as well, right?
Yeah. So it does.
That was a wish.
Yeah. But I mean, the letter by itself shows that the brother did love her sister, because or else he would have just burned that letter and then Lily would have been forgotten. And Koba would have never heard about Lily.
All right. But yeah, like, it's just really interesting. I really hope we learn more about Lily, how maybe Lily betrayed Emu, Emu betrayed Lily. There's a love triangle between Emu, Lily, and Joy Boy. Or what if all three are the same person? Joy Boy is Emu, and Lily, or Joy Girl, like, could be awesome.
But yeah, and listen, I'm gonna tease already for the next episode. There's gonna be a lot of red discussion. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
from my end,
I didn't watch the recent episode that came out this past Saturday because from what I saw in the preview, it was just all flashback. Like, I think they were just redoing the Enies Lobby arc, like talking about it. Did anybody watch it? Marth?
The Enies Lobby arc? Yeah,
no,
I did watch it.
I usually just do it like that. I wait until the episode's out, and then I see how many people are like reaction to this One Piece episode, blah blah. I'm like, okay, this is actually an episode I can watch because it's not a whole flashback.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's just recap. I think it's all
Is it going to be reanimated?
I think they're just using the episode of Mary scenes. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think they're going to reanimate it, considering they're redoing with East Blue, so I think they're not going to waste their time. So
it sucks.
It's already a waste of time.
It would suck if like the last 2 minutes are like good animation of like the fight going on right now. That would be awful. But yeah, it's.
But I would love this because it's one of my headcanon. I believe when we're gonna get some of the Whitebeard pirates and some of the people who were in Marineford, and we're gonna see images of Marineford, I think Oda's gonna give us a vision of Marineford with the hockey. Because remember, we never saw any of the hockey, and he admitted that the only reason why is because since we were not introduced to hockey, just like Luffy was not, because we're seeing everything through Luffy's lens, right? And he explained, I think it was, what was it, SBS or in an interview? He basically explained, since we're seeing it the same way as Luffy, and he didn't learn the hockey yet, we ourselves can see it. That's why now we can see the black, like, that's what Luffy sees, but all the people who don't see hockey don't see black hockey. But we see it because now Luffy got introduced to it.
But yeah, Rayleigh not only taught Luffy, he taught us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would love for it to us for able to see what happened really in Marineford. What if while the admirals were blocking with that Whitebeard massive attack, all three of them, maybe there was a split in sky situation. Remember how it hit everything and everyone was scared and was moved aside? Almost broke the podium. So yeah, it could be many instances like that.
And speaking of hockey, I wonder if we're gonna see more of it. Maybe in Marineford also. We're gonna, if we get a flashback of it. I think Katakuri has done it. Like the stronger armament hockey he was doing, like it was like a block. You remember what I'm talking about? It was
block?
He did like a better version of armament hockey. And he was saying like this is the better version of it, or like the next version, the next form of armament hockey. Y'all don't remember that?
No, because all you said is that he did a block, describe more the attack.
Yeah, it was just he made his arm a block, and that's how he was fighting Luffy towards the, like, he was telling him like.
Oh, okay. You mean a block like a square?
Yeah.
Dude, it sounded like you're saying he blocked, like blocking it, defending.
No.
That's why I didn't understand. What did he defend with? Okay. I don't remember it. I really don't remember. It could be, I mean, Oda loves to foreshadow stuff. Like, I do believe that in Wano, in Dressrosa, is the first time he showed us Rio with Sabo. The way he destroyed the Colosseum. The fire hits from on top, but it blows up from the inside.
But yeah, it's like a different level. It's like he's saying it's like the next level, and it would be awesome if we get more into that, or we see people in Marineford doing that. Like all the Whitebeard pirates knew that or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That being said, we have to come to an end. But but I got some homework for you guys. For you guys, and also for the guys that are listening or watching. So in chapter 626, right? That's the one with Otohime, where she talks about Poseidon. Two things. First thing is, the Sea Kings we see depicted there, they are completely different from all the Sea Kings we see throughout the entire story. Like, usually we always see the same Sea Kings. The one bird thingy with the fluffy hair and the other one. But these look completely different. Like, I just noticed this. This is so weird. Does that mean that the Sea Kings from back then don't exist anymore?
Are we sticking to the manga? Because I feel like the anime was a little bit inconsistent. And also, are you talking about...
Yeah, I said chapter 626.
Cool. So specifically, and then you're talking about the flashback of when Shirahoshi was a girl? A little girl?
Yeah.
Or...
Like if you...
Okay.
Yes. So it's homework, right, Kuso? So if you paid attention, you would know it's homework, and you could just look it up after I'm done talking, right? But you try to be a bum. It's okay, I forgive you. Anyway, and the second task is that we see that Otohime is talking about someone who's gonna appear to guide that mermaid, right? And we have this silhouette, and I know silhouettes are a thing in One Piece. They mostly are never what they seem like, but yeah, I want to hear what you guys and the guys in the comments think who this silhouette is depicting, because that's quite curious in my opinion. Anyway, for everyone who has not yet, who's listening to this on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe, check out the links underneath in the description. Like, we have all our channels linked there. We are all content creators, so feel free to check out our stuff. If you're listening in on Spotify or any other platform, follow or whatever you can do there, man. I have no idea. Just press the likes, share if you enjoyed what we are saying, comment if you can. And thanks for being here with us, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Laters, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Kuso doesn't want to say bye. Goodbye.
Bye.